This video is brought to you by the new channel rebrand. Everything you currently see and will see is staying on the pink brand for now. You know that feeling you get when you watch a film and as you're viewing it, you don't know if you loved it or hated it? Well, that's how I felt about Birds of Prey. It's taken me exactly 5 weeks to formulate that feeling. Now, I didn't love it like I wanted to, but I didn't hate it like I feared I would. I thought it was okay. I don't know how to express this with words, but it felt like something was missing. I enjoyed every single thing that had to do with Harley Quinn, but everything else I just couldn't click with it. If you take in everything as a whole, this movie isn't awful. I mean, it's nowhere near Justice League, which was a very bad film. Justice League was a prime example of a soulless, dry, empty, blood-sucked, committee-made trash fire of a cape flick, which Birds of Prey wasn't. I wanted something more with Birds of Prey, something with more substance like Shazam or Wonder Woman. Though what I can't deny is that Birds of Prey is an aesthetically pleasing and colorful film that you can visually tell was made by a storyteller. The cinematography was vibrant and engaging to watch. It had style and soul which emanates from the performances and action. The use of color was absolutely great. It was like one big visual glitter bomb splashed onto the screen. Every shot and every frame benefited from the vibrant and popping use of color, something that many comic book films suffer from, like your Ant-Mans and Civil Wars, which all look so dead and dry. Now, I want to get into the core of what made me enjoy Birds of Prey and what disconnected me just a little. For starters, this doesn't even feel or remotely resemble a Birds of Prey film. This should have been titled Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey from the start. This movie is basically a Harley Quinn story with the semi-Birds of Prey on the sideline. And what I mean by that is that some of the characters don't really look or act like them and don't get enough time to shine. Renee Montoya was pretty cool, but I wanted something more from her. I wish we got more time to flesh her out. Huntress came off a bit odd. I know they were going for the whole socially awkward thing, but it just didn't do it for me. Some of her dialogue and delivery came off a bit cringy sometimes. This isn't criticisms towards the actress, but more or less the choice of the direction. Now, Cassandra Cain might as well have been anyone with a different name because she was not the true Cassandra Cain. I did my research and found out that Cassandra Cain is one of the most lethal hand-to-hand combat fighters in the DC universe, who's later mentored by Batman and becomes Batgirl. That alone sounds so much more interesting than what we got. I mean, come on, she's downgraded to a bratty pocket thief, and her whole purpose to the plot was to shit out a diamond she swallowed. Like, what? But I guess she could evolve into the true Cassandra Cain down the line, I don't know. Now, on to Black Canary. I know this is a controversial topic, but I really don't care. I have to stay true to myself and be 100% honest, because I have a deep passion for standing up for creators in all forms of art. The Dinah Lance we got is not the true Dinah Lance. She doesn't act or look like Dinah at all. The real Dinah Lance that I connect with is a Caucasian white woman with blonde hair. I know there's this stigma with the whole race bending thing, where if you say you want a character to visually resemble the core attributes to their source material, you'll get labeled the racist card, which is the unfortunate reality. I couldn't connect with Black Canary in this movie because she's not Black Canary. Dinah Lance has a distinct and iconic look to her, as well as her mannerisms, of which were properly not portrayed. Now, I call it both ways when it comes to this kind of stuff. Storm, for example, has never been depicted appropriately in any of the X-Men films. In the source material, she's a dark-skinned woman of African descent, yet the films showcase her as a light-skinned or biracial woman, which is not only a disservice to the character, but a big middle finger to the creators. So what I'm basically saying is that it's crucial to respect and honor what's established, especially when it's someone else's creation. This isn't an attack on the actress, but the creative choice and lack of awareness. In the context of if this is an original character who's using the Black Canary title and Dinah Lance's name for some reason, then I could get behind that. Now, what I really loved about this movie was everything with Harley Quinn, which was hands down the saving grace. Margot Robbie's perfect performance as the ditzy blonde with the Brooklyn accent was the best thing about Birds of Prey from the beginning to the end. Harley's a character that can get really annoying really quickly if not written correctly. In Birds of Prey, she's given a story arc that's both compelling and entertaining. You actually feel for her. The journey she goes through in this story was very heartfelt. Seeing her adapt to her new lifestyle as just Harley Quinn and not Harley Quinn the Joker's girlfriend opened the doors for good storytelling with Harley. The plot wasn't anything complex or deep, which is fine because it's not trying to be. Birds of Prey was simple to follow, and simplicity allows for complexity. Harley was transformed from a supervillain into an anti-hero by trying to be better, and the contrast with Harley being with the Joker versus Harley being alone really shows this, and it honestly made me want to see more of this world's Harley Quinn, this new Harley Quinn. The police station raid where Harley is fighting those goons in the jail cell was great. The music blended in with the bone-crushing hits from her baseball bat made this a joy to watch. The choreography from Harley's fight scenes was something straight out of a John Wick movie, mixed in with the goofiness and comic book nature of Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie as Harley is the perfect casting choice not only for the DCEU, but for this movie as a whole. Everything that she does is so good. Her voice, the way she speaks, fights, her subtle facial gestures and mannerisms is the peak embodiment of Harley Quinn.
Vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for. Yeah. Are we ready?
Oh, and this whole thing about Birds of Prey being a feminist movie or anti-men propaganda is just nonsense. If you've known me for a long time, you probably think I'm being biased because this movie stars my favorite actress, who just so happens to be someone who I admire greatly among other people, but I can tell you that Birds of Prey was not woke. Most of this comes from misinformed individuals who haven't seen the movie or are basing it on comments made by one of the actors, and as someone who calls out social justice nonsense, this movie ain't it. If we call everything woke and SJW, it'll diminish the actual meaning when it needs to be applied. Regardless, I don't think this film was terrible like some people are making it out to be. It was alright. Harley was the best thing about Birds of Prey. The flawless performance by Margot Robbie, the action, cinematography, music, style, aesthetic, screams uniqueness and heart. If this movie didn't have Margot's Harley Quinn, I probably wouldn't have seen it, unless there was an authentic Birds of Prey. I really appreciate that they took a risk making this with an actual storyteller and not as a cheap studio cash grab with no effort or soul. You can tell that Kathy Ann and Margot Robbie were really passionate on telling the story, which I admire, because I'm also passionate on telling certain stories. So for all the flaws it may or may not have, this movie was redeemed and carried by Harley Quinn's charm, charisma, and cartoony personality, which is why Birds of Prey was not bad.